Good morning, students. In today's class, we are going to talk about the second essay on superstitions by A.G. Gardner. If you remember, in yesterday's class, we talked about another essay, Selected Snobberies, which was by Aldous Huxley. And that particular essay, Huxley has talked about different kinds of snobberies that are prevalent in a society. He has talked about disease snobbery, he has talked about culture snobbery, he has talked about family snobbery, he has talked about booze snobbery, he has talked about modernity snobbery, and lastly, he has talked about art snobbery. In today's essay, that is on superstitions, this is another general topic which A.G. Gardner has picked up for discussion. A.G. Gardner was an English essayist journalist and he wrote under the pseudonym Alpha of the Plot. This is very important because most of his essays have been written under that pen name Alpha of the Plot. Let me tell you in brief about what this essay comprises of. As we all know, the title on superstitions. Superstitions are prevalent in every society, be it an English society or Indian society. In Indian society also we have a number of superstitions, like there's a superstition that we do not move out of the house when somebody sneezes. Or we have a superstition that if a black cat has crossed our path, we stop and wait for a few seconds or few minutes, only then we proceed further to do our work. In the same manner, A.G. Gardner has talked about different superstitions prevailing in the English society. There are a number of superstitions that he talks about in the essay, and to name a few, the very first superstition that he talks about is the superstition of the number 13. Which I think is a superstition which is not only prevalent in England but it is also equally prevalent in India. We too are superstitious of the number 13. Then he talks about the superstition where people prefer to walk around the ladder rather than walking under it. Then he talks about superstitions related to the sound of thunder and moving back from history and to the present society. By the time when he finishes the essay, he's trying to sum up with the fact that when man had not discovered science or when science was not advanced, superstitions and all were believed to be something that came from nature, and nature was something which was beyond the control of human beings. So we were generally afraid of so many things, but as science advanced and as things kept on proceeding further and further, most of the superstitions have started coming to a halt. We are no longer as superstitious as we were earlier. So this is a small recap of the whole essay. When we begin with the essay, tomorrow I am going to take up the text of the essay. Today I am just going to tell you in brief what the essay comprises of about. The writer begins the essay when he says that a number has taken place with a house which is numbered 13. Now, the murder has taken place in a house which is numbered 13 is again considered to be inauspicious and superstitious, and people say that this particular murder was committed in this particular house because the house is supposed to carry the number 13. But if you analyze and if you see, you will find that as many numbers of murders have been committed at number 6 or number 7. So again, this is our belief that since the house was having the number 13, the murder was committed at that particular place. He further says that there are many people who would not prefer to take a house which is numbered 13. And to add to it, there are many landlords who would not give their house to tenants who have some inauspicious number 13, whether in their name or whether in the letter of in the date of coming to take the ownership of the house. He says it has nothing to do with number 13, but we blindly believe that since it was number 13, that's why all these all these crimes have been committed. Then he slightly passes an hint that most of the people are generally happy if they have been invited to a dinner which does not have 13 people. And we knowingly or unknowingly assume the fact that if 13 people are coming to the dinner, we should avoid it because it is an inauspicious number. And he says further that we prefer in the heart of the hearts that if somebody says, opts out of that dinner because of some excuse and he says, I can't come because I'm having cold or cough, whatever it is, and the number is reduced to 12. We are very happy with the fact that, now we are not going to attend a dinner which is number 13. There is another example that he gives in the essay that there are hardly any buses in London which have the number 13. There are no streets in London with the number 13, and there are no houses with number 13. So 13 is considered an inauspicious number, and here is one common link between India and the Writers' Society that he projects in the essay, that we too are superstitious about the number 13. Number 13 is considered to be an inauspicious number. We do not prefer to begin a new work on number 13. We do not wish to entertain any new assignment or any new project on that particular date. Though we don't acknowledge it to ourselves because we are very educated on that point, we say, and we brush it off by saying, oh no, this doesn't mean, but somewhere in the heart of the hearts, at the back of our mind, we do have this, that yes, if it is number 14 or if it is number 11 or if it is number 12, it is preferred. Then when he is talking about number 13, he further explains that he has heard also of the fact that in hospitals, they do not have a bed which is numbered 13. And hospitals do not have a bed number 13s. That is very strange, because it has been believed that physical recovery is the recovery of the mind. If the mind and the willpower are strong, patients tend to recover very quickly. And then he cites an example that in this process where a person is grievously injured, or probably he's on a he's on a death bed where the chances of survival are very low and very bleak, and given this information that he's lying on number 13 bed, probably instead of boosting up his chances of recovering, probably might end up on his death, because that is the pressure that number 13 exerts on that particular person. And because of this, that physical recovery depends mostly on the mental recovery and your physical surroundings. Florence Nightingale advocated the custom of bringing flowers to the patients, because flowers with myriad shades and colors and hues create a positivity in the patient who's lying on the bed. So we have talked about two very noticeable superstitions which A.G. Gardner points out in the essay, number 13, which is related to house, which is related to street, which is related to buses, which is related to murder, and on the top of it, it is related to the hospital beds also. Then further moving, A.G. Gardner cites on many other superstitions. Another superstition that he talks about in the essay is that many people prefer to walk around the ladder rather than walking under it, because walking under the ladder is considered to be some inauspicious thing. Then he talks about some superstitions where when you're watching the new moon, your hands tend to get into the pocket and you keep on churning the money, the loose money that is in your pocket, and it is believed that by doing such, by turning the money in the pocket, you are trying to avert the evil that has been cast by watching the new moon. There are so many superstitions which A.G. Gardner has talked about, small, though we don't acknowledge them, though we don't say them that yes, these superstitions exist, but we prefer not to go under the ladder and we prefer to walk around the ladder. We prefer not to watch the new moon, and if by chance we are to witness the new moon, we prefer to put our hands into the pockets and you turn on the loose money that you have, because we are trying to ward off the evil omen that it can cast. Then he takes us back to history and he says that when science was not discovered, nature's fury was something by which mankind was afraid of a lot, because things were beyond our control. What can happen through nature, either in the form of an earthquake or hurricanes or floods, that was beyond our control. In tomorrow's class, I'm going to read out the lines from the text, and I'm going to tell you about the few examples from history where Gardner cites out about few Roman emperors who believed in these omens, who believed in the superstitions, and they lost their life. So for today's class, we have just gathered the information about A.G. Gardner, and we have briefly discussed about the number of superstitions that he's talking about in the essay. Tomorrow we'll be referring to the text and we will take each and every superstition in detail. Thank you very much.